That may be St. Joseph Church, 17th century, or not. Here not only a fountain, oftentimes called a well, but in the background an old well. Here kind of a mini courtyard, probably several living residences off of it. But how lovely to live in one of these places. No idea what this cup device was for. Perhaps from an early industry. Maybe just signifying that this building was built in 1842. Here another little square off the main drag, a restored building that once had something interesting right there. But now houses a restaurant. It looks like we're standing beside a church, but which side is the church, I don't know, left or right. But that's a bell tower. There you can see that bell tower to the left of the Austrian prison. Again, that architectural detail that I find so curious. You dry clothes in this manner. And our hostel has a very elaborate system for it. Simple but elaborate. Contradictory. We can look up inside of a private door. A lovely old stairway going up to another living area, probably. And as it gets to be dark, people close those shutters as they become aware of the fact that their neighbors can now look inside the house. A little bit harder to do during the daytime. Behind this grated wall, just debris, so this is completely unrestored in there. Here, a lovely little walk area. And you can imagine that certain places that have a very unique ambience like this have a greater value in the real estate sense along our eastern path. Here, a little patio turned into a garden, although I suspect it does not get much light, but a pretty space. Notice the difference between the feel of this intersection and the last one we looked at. And as the Irishman Harold said in Veliko Tarnov, some places push my buttons and others don't. There a little residence with a little patio. Just a pillar of graffiti, I guess. But for the clever among us, it may be a map. Here's the other access to the wall. And it surrounds a very dramatic looking entry to this area, which we'll go down and look at. I think the north gate is immediately to the right, and that's St. Mary's Church from 1221. Here I am at the north entrance where I was yesterday morning, the wall up above us, and we'll enter in through here again. I think that's a winged lion in that triangular area. I can't remember the name of the triangular area anymore. So as we enter the walls through the gate, another restaurant, of course. And here's St. Mary's Church. And we're retracing our steps back to where we came down from the entrance to the wall. Here, an old entrance to the wall. And if you wonder why I'm shooting all these different angles, even though they're relatively unimportant, it's because to me, each view is like a different painting. Some are good, some are bad. Here's the altar. This is an interesting map of the Kotor fortress. In other words, the area of Old Town at the left bottom and the walled portion on the mountain, indicating blue for relatively safe, yellow for more risk, and the red for very high risk, although the red has been restored at the top. The part to the right has not, and I don't even know if it's passable. Here we're looking at the real side of that entryway to the portion we came down. Now why that walkway up there had such importance, I don't know. And this symbol, of course, seems to be a combination of the icon of St. Mark, the winged lion, with his hands on some kind of text, or his paws, but it almost seems to be the face of a human, i.e. St. Mark. Looking back the way we came. Here, of course, with that fountain that may or may not work, but with a shaded benches to sit in. For an old guy like me someday, this could be a lovely place to come and live nearby. Here, a little mini store. Okay, now I'm moving south, or to the south, in order to pick up the next slice back. Okay, now I'm moving west, just to pick up the next slice that I can take going south. Another shop. We would have walked down where that car was and missed this interior square, if you will. Some European travelers on their Harleys. I don't know what the significance of this building is or was, or whether it's just a fanciful reconstruct or creation. Again, you can see how little walkways continue, and we'll pursue these a bit. You may wonder what justifies this expense for reconstructing and all the restaurants and so forth, but it's apparently substantial. Cruise ships come scooting in here, drop off their hoards, race about with their guides, and have certainly a certain amount of time to shop. That's obligatory. I hear the entrance to somebody's home. Now we're walking west again out of that little square. And we're approaching from the back St. Luke's Church, number 23, 1166. That appears to be St. Luke's. There, right above the nave and where the altar meets, that dome, I'm sure. And here's the altar and a side chapel. We're going to go to the right rather than to the left, but we'll come back here. So where I am right now is to the left of the 23. The church is to my rear, and then to the left of me, straight ahead of where I'm standing, is number 22. The Church of St. Nickolai, 1909. Which may also include an earlier Christian basilica. It's not clear where that is. And then next to it, this building is apparently a former Episcopalian residence, but is now a musical school, or a school of music. Now I'm going to probe the right side of Church of St. Nicholas just to see if there's anything of interest. It's pretty obvious this is probably a totally brand new building. This looks interesting. It's probably somebody's residence up there.